Hello students, let us discuss about IP security. So it is a collection of protocol designed by the IETF, that is Internet Engineering Task Force, to provide security for a packet at the network layer, as you can see. So this is the IP security architecture. So in order to implement IP security, we have to implement two different protocols, that is ESP protocol and AH protocol. ESP is actually encapsulating security payload protocol and AH stands for authentication header protocol. Okay, so ESP protocol provides confidentiality, authenticity and integrity, and AH protocol provides authentication and integrity, and it does not provide any confidentiality. Okay, so here key management describes how the keys are exchanged between sender and the receiver, and it is achieved by ISAKMP protocol, which stands for Internet Security Association and Key Management Protocol. Let's see one by one. Okay, let me first tell you services provided by IP security like access control, message authentication, entity authentication, confidentiality and replay attack protection. As you can see in the, authentication header protocol, it does not provide confidentiality, but encapsulating security protocol provides the confidentiality. Okay, and as well as it also provides like message authentication, entity authentication, access control, replay attack protections, etc. Okay, before coming to the topic, let's see the concept of security association. So security association means the communication between client and server. Okay, it creates a secure channel between the client and server, and basically it is a unidirectional. Okay, so here as you can see, idea of security association. So here, if the Alice wants to communicate with the Bob, both Alice and Bob should have a security association. Alice should have a outbound security association and Bob should have a inbound security association. With the help of outbound security association, Alice can communicate with the Bob. So in order to give a response to the Alice, like two-way communication, Bob should have output security association and Alice should have an inbound security association. Okay, so here as you can see, for bidirectional communication, Alice and Bob needs to have both inbound and outbound security association. So we can say that we need a set of security association that can be collected into the database, and the database is called the security association database. So this database actually a two-dimensional table, as you can see, and each row defines a single security association. So normally there are two security association database, one for inbound security association and other one for outbound security association. And in order to identify the security association, three parameters are required, as you can see: security parameter index, destination address and the protocol. Security parameter index, it's a 32-bit number actually, and destination address, basically if Alice wants to communicate with a Bob, so Bob address will be the destination address. And the protocol, as we have already discussed, IP security has two different protocols: authentication header protocols and encapsulating security protocol. So in the protocol section, so it will be one of them. And apart from this, there are some other parameters are there in security association database. As you can see, sequence number, overflow flag, anti-replay window, lifetime, IP security mode, etc. So as you can see, this is the typical security parameters. Sequence number counter, it's a 32-bit value that is basically used to generate sequence numbers for the both authentication header protocol or encapsulating protocol, security protocol. Next is the sequence number overflow, and another is the anti-replay window and H information, that is authentication header information, and this parameter contains information for the authentication header protocols like authentication algorithm, keys lifetime, other related informations. Okay, next is the SA lifetime. This is the security it defines basically security association lifetime, And next is the IP security modes. So the IP security has two different modes, transport mode and tunnel mode. So let's discuss it in detail. As you can see, IP security operates in one of the two different mode, that is transport mode or tunnel mode. From the diagram, as you can see, in transport mode, IP security layer comes between the transport layer and the network layer and protects what is delivered from the transport layer to the network layer. But it does not protect whole IP packets. It only protects the packets from the transport layer. And this mode is normally used in end-to-end protection of data. Okay, let's see tunnel mode. In tunnel mode, the flow is from the network layer to the IP security layer and then back to the network layer again. It protects the entire IP packets as shown in the diagram, and as you can see, this mode is normally used between two routers or host and routers or router and host. So this is the comparison between transport mode and tunnel mode. So in the transport mode, IP security layer in between transport layer and network layer, and in tunnel mode, IP security layer in between network layer and new network layer. Okay. We have already discussed a little bit about authentication header protocol and encapsulating security protocol. But in this slide, we will discuss in detail. In order to provide security in the network layer, IP security defines two different protocols, authentication header protocol and encapsulating security payload protocol. In authentication header protocol, it is actually designed to authenticate the source host and to ensure the integrity of the message carried in IP packets. It uses hash function and symmetric key to create the message digest. Then this message digest is inserted in the authentication header and then placed in appropriate location based on the mode. The mode can be a tunnel mode or transport mode. So here the value of IP header is 51 and these are the fields of authentication header protocol. Next header field, so the size of this field is 8-bit and it defines the type of payload. For example, it can be a TCP, UDP, ICMP or OSPF. Next is the payload length. So it defines the length of the authentication header in 4-byte multiples. Okay. Next is the security parameter index, sequence number, and the last one is the authentication data. This authentication data field is the result of applying a hash function. So basically, authentication header protocol provides the source authentication and data integrity, but it does not provide privacy. Okay. So next come to the encapsulating security payload protocol. So encapsulating security payload provides source authentication, integrity as well as privacy. So here as you can see, this is the diagram of encapsulating security payload. So when the IP datagram carries an ESP header and trailer, the value of the protocol field in the IP header is 50. Okay, the ESP procedure actually here, first ESP trailer is added into the payload and then the payload and the trailers are encrypted. Okay, and the ESP header is added into the payload. Next, the ESP header and payload and ESP trailer are used to create the authentication data, and then those authentication data are added to the end of the ESP trailer. Okay, and the IP header is added after changing the protocol value to 50. So this is the overall encapsulating security protocol, and the IP security supports both the Internet Protocol version 4 and version 6. Okay, so these are the two protocols are used in IP security. So security policy database. So one thing I forgot to mention, that before using security association database, a host must determine a predefined policy for the packet called a security policy database that actually defines the type of security applied to a packet when it to be sent or when it has arrived. Okay, so here also there is a need for an inbound security policy database and outbound security policy database. And to identify the security policy database, here 6 parameters are required, as you can see: source address, destination address, name, protocol, source port, and destination port. So here name is actually defines DNS entity, and the protocol, it can be a authentication header protocol or ESP protocol. Next, the source port and destination port. Okay. So here also outbound security policy database is required and inbound security policies database is required. So when packet is to be sent out, the outbound security policy database is consulted. So here, as you can see from the diagram, if Alice wants to communicate with Bob, Alice should have a security policy database, outbound security policy database. Okay. So if the security policy database is dropped, that means the packet defined by the index cannot be sent. Okay, and it is dropped. And if the policy is bypassed, this means there is no policy for the packet with this policy index. Okay, and the packet is sent by bypassing the security header application to the Bob. Okay. And if the policy is applied, so in that case two possibilities may arise. The first one is that if the outbound security association is already established, so in that case packet is transmitted to the through the IP security layer to the Bob. Okay. If the outbound security association is not established yet, then the internet key exchange protocol is called to create an outbound and inbound security association for the traffic. Okay, this is the outbound processing. Next is the inbound security policy database. So when packet arrives, so in that case inbound security policy database is consulted. So here, as you can see in the diagram, so here from Alice the packets is transmitted through the inbound security policy database. So here, as you can see, if the policy is discarded, that means the packet defined by the policy must be dropped. Okay, if it is bypassed, this means there is no policy for a packet with this policy index. So the packet is processed and ignoring the information from authentication header or ESP header, and this packet is directly delivered to the transport layer. Okay, and if policy is applied, so in that case two possibility may arises. If an inbound security association is already established, then the packets is transmitted through the IP security layer to the transport layer. Okay, and if security association is not yet established, then the packet must be discarded. Okay, so this is the overall inbound processing. So let's move on to the internet key exchange protocol. This protocol defines how the key exchanges between sender and the receiver. This protocol creates both inbound and outbound security associations. So it is very a complex protocol, and which is based on these three protocols, as you can see. The first one is Wakeley, next is SKEME, and the last one is ISAKMP. Wakeley, it is based on the Diffie-Hellman key exchange method, and next is the SKEME. It is another key exchange method which uses public key encryption for entity authentication. Okay, and the last one, which is Internet Security Association and Key Management Protocol, it defines several packets, parameters, and protocols, and which allow the IKE exchanges and to create security associations. Okay. So here, as you can see, this is the original Diffie-Hellman key exchange protocol. So here both the parties exchanges their keys. So here first initiator calculates G to the power I mod P, and the responder calculates G to the power R mod P. Then initiator send that KEI to the responder, and responder send it back KER to initiator. So this is how both generates their shared secret key, K equal to G to the power IR mod P. But original Diffie-Hellman protocol has some weaknesses that need to be eliminated before it is suitable as an internet key exchange protocol. Okay, so here, as you can see, Diffie-Hellman with cookies. So to overcome this common weaknesses in the original Diffie-Hellman problems like denial of service attack, replay attack, and man in the middle attack, So here as you can see, to protect against clogging attack, which is a denial of service attack, IKE uses cookies. Okay. Next, to protect against replay attack, IKE uses nonces, and to protect against man in the middle attack, IKE requires that each party shows that it possesses secret. So this is the improved version of Diffie-Hellman key exchange protocol. Okay, so let's come to the IKE phases. So IKE creates security association for message exchange protocol like IP security. And some protocols are also required to create a security association for IKE, and some protocols are also required to create security association for some other protocols. Okay, and so on. To solve this dilemma, the designer of Internet Key Exchange divided the IKE into two different phases, phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 creates security association for phase 2, and phase 2 creates security association for a data exchange protocol such as IP security. Okay, so to know more about IP Internet Key Exchange protocol or phase 1 and phase 2, you can refer any book. Okay, and I will attach some PDFs, you can go through it. Okay, so this is an overview of IP security. So thank you.